All right, sorry about that. So again, welcome to Community Initiatives Program. And like I said, been building relationships with community partners, volunteers, and businesses. And right now, I'm pursuing my master's in philanthropy and nonprofit leadership at Carleton University, which is really, I love it. It's exciting. All right. And so what I do in outreach is I connect those with the people living in remote communities to educate about our programs. I help with presentations to corporate donors, small groups and businesses, and communities like yourselves. I try to foster these positive relationships between the communities, ourselves, and partners, which in Kita, with One Pal, One Community. I help with project application statuses and sending information, photos of projects for donors and other communities to kind of see. And I plan and implement a lot of these programs, always with the Indigenous Advisory Committee that we've connected with. So a little bit about us. Most all of our programs will fall within these 8 stones of support, which is water, food, housing, health, self-determination, reconciliation, culture, and education. So we work with Indigenous communities through grassroots initiatives that are implemented through communities, provide funding, supplies, mentorship, and health services that are not always readily available or accessible to northern and remote communities. I'm just gonna close. I keep seeing my camera, and I don't want it. Hang on 1 second. The camera is blocking my view. In 1 second. Okay. We also host reconciliation opportunities, whether that's virtual and in person. One of them is reconciliation walks, which we're launching 4 of them this year in Southern Ontario, which is really exciting. We also run an exchange program with Constance Lake First Nation and Oakville Youth through our Hockey Cares program and the Taste of Indigenous Canada events, which brings in culture and people that might not always know about Indigenous culture. So here's our Indigenous advisories. We are grateful to the Indigenous advisories from various nations and communities who speak into daily efforts and the Community Initiatives program. And so I really hold a lot of all these people very close to my heart and work with on responsibility, relationship, reciprocity, and respect. And I can't say enough about these amazing people, Paul, Linda, Carrie, Christine, and Kate. Um, Very wonderful people. If you are interested in becoming part of the advisory, please reach out to me. We're always looking for new voices and faces from all across Canada and the North. So since 2017, we've supported over 180 communities through our programs. Um, we still have new communities to work with, so it's really nice to see some new faces on here and from representing different nations and different communities. So thanks for joining us. And so here's some of our like core programs, I would say. So there's the Community Initiatives Program, which I'm going to go into detail about today. I talked a little bit about our reconciliation initiatives, our Hockey Cares program, and our main supply programs, which is Good Night Sleep for Beds, Back to School, the One Pallet, One Community initiatives, Moontime Connections, Roll Up, Lego Replay, and Northern Reads. And so again, here's the supplies programs. So back to school, the applications have already passed. Moontime Connections is year-round, so if you need menstrual supplies and education programs related around Moontime, Moontime Connections is a fantastic program that I would encourage you to take advantage of and to look at. Roll Up for the North is working with communities to get wheelchairs and walkers that have been refurbished. So we're hoping to launch that program potentially next year. And so if there's any need in your community, please reach out to me, and because there might be a program that fits in with it really well, like what you see here, or through the One Pallet, One Community program, where we connect with people from the South who want to do these collections of sometimes menstrual supplies, but hygiene items, school supplies, hockey equipment, and that kind of stuff. And they vet it, they gather it, and that we ship up north on their behalf and hopefully make some sort of connection with a remote community. And then we'll also have Northern Reads. So keep on the lookout. I would say October of this year for Northern Reach, which is we work with Strong Nations out in British Columbia, and they're Indigenous owned business that sells books and all of great stuff, Indigenous authors books mainly. And it also have Lego replay. So if you're interested in getting some boxes of Lego, we have a really great connection with Lego replay. And any questions, just let me know in the chat. All right, so we're relaunching our community initiatives programs. I know some of you have worked with us with this program. Some of you might not have. We really had to think about, what groups were benefiting from this. Should we go back to our grassroots level? So we're relaunching it again, and with the maximum of $10,000 to work with smaller groups on addressing plant or food sovereignty, holistic, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being programs, whether that's housing inequities, equitable access to resources. So some of you on here have been backpack programs, have run your own backpack programs, or have said, hey, I need this for my community that related to cultural well-being. It's all in there. And so we're really excited to continue being all like continue this. Sorry, I was looking at the chat, making sure I didn't miss any questions. But some consider like some requirements to consider when applying for the Community Initiatives Program. Are you applying on behalf of a northern and remote community? And we do have a definition of northern and remote, which is about 50 above the 55th parallel or 2 hours or more from a city hub. So that could be like Winnipeg, I wouldn't say Toronto, but you would have to be northern and remote. So, and so one of this is, does your project fit within our 5 objects, and that actually is going to be shown in the application beforehand. Do you have a clear plan with a budget? Are you working with others on your project? And do you have 2 letters of reference? And so those 2 letters of reference, we can go into detail more, are just from leadership. Does leadership know that you're applying for this program? Do you have the necessary quotes to attach to your application with your budget? And are you addressing a need in your community? And I most certainly, when you apply for this program, I most certainly know that you are. Renaud asked, could you elaborate more on what is considered addressing housing? So in the past, we worked with groups on doing tiny homes. And so that was one of them. Home inspections. But if you could see here, we don't build homes, but if there's things that need furnishing in a home, we might be able to do that, or a community center, like that kind of stuff would be considered under housing. But here is the examples of things that we don't fund, which is research and development, projects that don't support Indigenous peoples in the community, food requests. So unfortunately, we got a lot of requests for people asking for hampers or food that's non-perishable as well. So there's 6 staff. Let's just say the Trinity State has 6 staff, 3 part-time, 3 full-time staff. And that just shows you how small of an organization is, but we have funding available for communities. But as you know, food is such a great need, and it is a drop in the bucket, unfortunately, when we provide food. So we're looking for long-term or sustainable food initiatives. We can't cover insurance or consulting fees and administrative costs, which would be like salary and wages. So no, and all of this is for northern and remote. So Inuit community, Métis community, and First Nations that are considered northern and remote per our mandate. I would say almost all communities in the Northwest Territories, all in Nunavut and Nunatsiavut would be considered northern remote. And we've worked with people in Maine and northern Quebec and all those communities. So no worries at all for that. Alberta, it would have to be 2 hours outside of like Edmonton or Calgary and above the 55th parallel. We can get into that more. But if you let me know what community that you're from, we can take a look at the map and I'd be like, yay or nay, on that, and take a peek at how far you are from a hub. So, anyways, the process is we have a rolling deadline of the 15th of every single month. So apply by the 15th. If you need a few days, please let me know. The following week, I will start looking at the applications with my team and seeing if there's any information that we might need, because the first week of every month, we review it as a whole staff, to see if everything's there for the budget, if there's more information that might be needed. And if there's more information needed, I'll reach out to you after that. And so it might delay your application slightly, but our goal is to let you know what within 60 days. That's what I say would be the maximum if your application has been approved or not. But we send that application over to the Indigenous Advisory Council if we think that if you have your budget there already, if you have like everything's in place, we understand what you're needing and that kind of stuff. So we'll forward that over to the Indigenous Advisory Committee for review and they'll approve it. And then we'll get on to the funding agreements and that kind of stuff. Checking in. For McPherson, yep. Individual, so for charities to support another charity has to be beneficial to the entire community. The max amount is 10,000 now instead of 50,000. We've had to reduce that, unfortunately. And it would be one project. You'd have to finish your project before applying for the next one. But individuals, so say like you want to your kid to go to school, we wouldn't be able to fund that, but if you wanted to work with getting 10 kids to be part of this program, then we would be able to do that. It just has to support a few people on here. Backpack program, that's already passed, and so the applications have closed, but keep an eye usually out for applications around May, because we have to put the order in pretty early. And how many years we could apply? You could apply for 3 times a year. Yeah, and then for food insecurity, it'd be community gardens or cooking classes or anything that would like strengthen skills and pass those skills on into community. All right. I might hold off on the questions because I might answer some of your questions as I continue on. But I love the engagement, so thanks so much. All right. So this is kind of like, how do you start? You just go by addressing the need. What do you need to make sure that you address that need? What kind of resources? What goals are achieved by addressing that need? We're looking at short-term and long-term impacts. And who can you count on for support, whether that's in community, if you've reached out to other funders and gotten approved, let us know. If 10,000 is just a small part of a larger program, are you still able to, if you don't get funding from like the full amount from us, are you still able to continue that? That's stuff we really would love to know. Here's some of the projects that we've worked on in the past, some on the land, some food storage programs. So we've done freezers up in Klulevik, working with some mental health workshops, moose hide tanning and cultural programs, fiddle programs, as you can see right there, language conferences, canoe journeys, chicken coops, tiny homes, purchasing bikes, community gardens, all that. That's just some of them. It's not an exhaustive list. If you want to check out our list, just go on to our website and you can see a lot of the programs that we've worked on. All right, so there's a few ways to apply. We try to make it as accessible as we can through our online portal, which I will show you at the end of this presentation. And over the phone with me, you and I can go over the phone. We can write in the stuff together, or even through video. If you're wanting to do video and submit that way, just let me know. I'll send you questions ahead of time. You still would need to provide us with some sort of budget with quotes. Anything that's over $3,000 when it comes to your budget has to have a quote. That's just within our board would like to see that. That's within our guidelines. So the picture moved. Want to let you know this is like what you can expect from us. Always respect, always relationship, and always support. We want to remove any barriers that you might have. Understand internet can be an issue. Want to make sure that we're understanding communities and like making sure that we're respecting that all communities are unique and have distinct ways of being. Um, I want to be able to build a relationship with you when you're making this, when you're filling in this application, but not just at the application point. It's this whether you're doing your midterm report, your final report. Um, I just want to be as supportive as I can, and if you have needs that need to be addressed, we're pretty flexible. And like I said, I love my job and I love the people I work with, and the relationship is such a big part of how I do things here. So, um, but you applicants also have a responsibility. Just hey, let me know if something changes. If you need to send in receipts, please send those. Please send those in. Um, and just share your stories and feedback with us on the process. What was difficult? What wasn't difficult? What was your success? We want to know how you're doing. And communities also see us on social media and that kind of stuff as well, and through our emails and see, hey, this community has done this. Let's focus on that. And I've had actually questions about from other communities on how another community might have addressed the need. So stories are so important, and sharing that stuff with us is always so we're so just happy to have stories. So if you get approved with your project, you'll have a little funding agreement. Either so what we do is we either fund the project, send you direct funding, or we provide like a virtual credit card to purchase your items, and that way when you purchase something you can upload your receipt right onto this program, which is amazing. Or we can purchase the supplies on your behalf. You just send us a quote of what you need or what store it's from, and I will call in, say, hey, that needs to be shipped here, and we will do that. So it's really cool. But so when your project is about halfway or complete, because sometimes there's trips that are 4 days, you don't need to do a midterm report. You can fill out the form that we provide you. You can set up a video call with me to go over what's going on with your project, and then send photos and testimonials or a video of you talking about your project based on some prompts and some questions I might give you, which is, again, we try to be as flexible as possible. Sometimes filling out forms is not fun, so we try to make it do it your way. But all in all, when it comes to this, do your research, see what's worked in your community before and other communities. Keep it simple as much as you can. Start small and ask for help. So, is I can ask some questions now, and then I can go over the application for the program. Up to you guys if you want to keep going. Um, yeah, Jesse, let's talk about that. Um, Yes, you would have been contacted already if you were selected for the backpack. We had over 40 applications this year. It was a lot. So, and so we can't fulfill um every request. We try to as much as we can. It's really hard when we're unable to. Um, but I wouldn't say just don't get discouraged by that because there's always other great opportunities later. And yes, I can provide what I'll do is I'll send an email out to everybody that was in this call today. And I'll send the guidelines for Northern and Remote. And we don't necessarily have a map. So Georgina, if you are again above the 55th parallel or more than 2 hours north of a hub, please, yeah, I can show you that, but um you would be considered. And so, okay, wow, great, wow, I love all the questions. Thanks, guys. Okay, um, the reconciliation walk, because we are doing that ourselves this year. It wouldn't be relevant to funding, and it's only limited to remote areas right now. Question for after the application review, can an NGO or corporate participate in one palette, one community? Yes. Joanna, if you're from a southern community and want to do a collection, please let me know. But if Joanna, like, I probably need more about your situation. So if you want to send me an email, I will put that in the chat. It's really easy. It's amanda@truenorthaid.ca. Cool. Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. That's really cool, Joanne. Okay. So if we're good to go, I'm gonna share a different screen. Maybe I'll do this. No problem. All right, another great question. Okay. What kind of project are you expecting to get an application? Expecting. Yeah, so research isn't, so we've had applications where someone's had wanted to create a research project on testing waters, making sure that the waters are clean. And so it wasn't, oh, right. So we weren't able to fund that just because I think it just has to be things that are either already in place, um, or that has a known, but we just can't fund research. I know that's not probably the best answer for you. And the amount funding in pro rata on the difficulty to get supplies here, it's not. We were pretty limited again with funding with us, um, which is why we've had to scale back the program quite a bit, because we were getting really big requests that because they were so high and so many communities had applied for certain programs that we weren't able to fund. Say we funded 50,000. I'm not being clear. Say we funded 50,000 and then there was 10 other applications for like cultural programming in community. We probably would be more focused on the smaller ones and working with the smaller communities. It's just like, honestly, it's a capacity. If a community already has the materials required to build tiny homes, is it possible to access funding to cover associated costs such as wages, honoraria, or other cooperative efforts, excluding the cost of supplies? You send me an email on that because that could depend. We do cover honorarium, but it would go by our policies that we have set in place on that. Um, but come talk to me. Usually we don't cover salaries, but we could potentially look at those wages. So um Mamie, I think that's your name. Send me an email. Amanda@turnerthate.ca. All right, I'm gonna share what the application looks like. Might as well just share my whole screen. Um, can you see what I'm sharing right now? Perfect. Okay, cool. So this is what it looks like in the back end for me. It's very similar what you'll see at the front end. So what I just went over here, if you have any issues, all this kind of fun stuff. We also want feedback, positive comments, negative comments, comments, observations and recommendations to True North Aid staff. And so we want to be better. And if there's a way that we can help, please let us know. So that's the first part of that page. After you click next, it'll go on to this page. And so hopefully I'll have a link to the webinar if you need to go back to what we talked about today. So first off, name your project, what you're looking for. We say provide your group name. So basically the group is like a committee organized for this. So like 3 different people. So you have Jan, Jill, and Jacob who want to run a cultural program. And so that would be considered your community. Registered charity, we've worked with registered charities before. Nonprofit, they're just not registered charities. But they could be registered in their own province or territory or other. If you have a CRA business or charitable registration number, we'd ask you to put that down and let us know, like, hey, who you are, your group of moms in the community that really want to start biking. And so you want to bring the community in. If you have any websites, social media, we ask for that. Has your group partnered with True North Aid? Some of you have. And so if you have, let us know when we did. Usually I know. We have a system to take a peek and see who's chatting. How did you find out about us? Whether that's email from me, other communities, social media, that kind of stuff. So the community information, like I just talked about. So what if you're not a nonprofit charity, we just ask you that you represent three individuals, um, with one member potentially being in a position of community leadership. That can be a teacher, a principal, part of the education authority. It could be nursing staff, anybody in community. Um, that wants to be part of this. And so the main applicant is going to be the first community members of the primary. Who am I going to be speaking with for the majority of this application? And that primary contact will be the person responsible for signing the funding agreement or a memorandum of understanding if the application is approved. And then the second committee member will also sign on to that too. So we just want to know what your role is in the community, your email, your phone number, a legal address of the group. So if you're from a band office, put your band office there. If you're from a hamlet, put the mayor office there, that kind of stuff. If you're working from that, if you're working from different tribal councils, just the main group of where you're from. We also want to know if you're Indigenous, what nation you're from, and then the second community member will be the same. The third community member will be the same email, phone number, asking this. If you have any more people that are involved with your project, put them here. This also helps if they're slightly involved, this also helps us connect with them on other levels too, for other opportunities like backpacks and that kind of stuff. Okay, perfect. Everyone can see other opportunities, like I mentioned before, Moontime Connections. So, let us know what your community is, where it will take place in the community, whether that's a school. Maybe I should be a little bit more clear and add that onto here. What the community's population and size is, what type of community will the project support, whether you're on reserve, off reserve, you're a flying community, your First Nations, anyway, you can click multiple. And what are the needs? So some background, let us know what your community is like. I think we're going to add some things as well to upload photos of your community. And we love seeing what your community looks like, and also helps us reach out to, if your application's approved, reach out to donors and let them know, and so that they can continue to support your initiatives. Any gaps in the community, and what are the currently available programs and services, and maybe even the gaps with that as well. Next is your project information. When does your project take place? How many people do you think this will be supporting? A quick summary of your project, doesn't have to be long. Your goals of what you want to accomplish and why. Short-term impacts, long-term impacts, if any, and how will you measure the success of your program. And so we used to have like this really, really long list that you used to click on, and it just didn't make any sense to have that. So we want to know will you take photos? Will you do surveys? What will you do? It's up to you guys. Who will this project support? Just a list of communities. Project is a one-time event or an ongoing. So if you have, say you're doing like multiple trips out to the bush or something like that, just say we're going to go from September 15th to the 20th, and then we're going to go October 15th to the 20th. Just let us know how many times you plan. If you don't have the dates, that's okay. We can figure that out after your project's approved. And then if you have an itinerary, that always is helpful too, so we can see what you're up to. That is super helpful. Any documentation related to the events of your project, if you've done it in the past, share like photos or a report or posters that you used in the past. And then if anything happens, are there any contingency plans, like if you get snowed in or something like that? What's the plan there? Or if there's an emergency in community, just let us know. Like, okay, if this happens, we're just gonna push it to the next week or the next month. Just let us know. And with that, if your application is approved, again, just let us know that these things happen. just so that we can move dates around when it comes to the midterm and final reports. And then let us know if this has been done before. What do you need? So, like, do you need canoe paddles? Do you need shipments covered of baby supplies? Like, what are the instructor fees? Like, that kind of stuff should be included in this. And will you be partnering with other organizations? So sometimes Trinity can grant $10,000 and then you've got $20,000 from this other organization. Just let us know what you're up to as well. And if you, I think we should add this actually as I'm talking. If you only get funded partial, are you still able to continue on with the project? And anything else you want to share with us, just browse. We have a media agreement, so if your shared photos, videos, testimonials, like I mentioned before, inspire other communities to develop their own projects initiatives, but also allows us to celebrate your successes with our donors. And I say donors because we are 100% donor based. We don't have any government funding, so we just get it from your regular foundation, your regular Joe, Mary, and Sue from Toronto. We are just 100% donor based, so having story to tell them helps us continue our programs here. Um, so we want to give space and honor the different types of storytelling you might have. And so we let you know fillable form, a video interview, a phone interview, a written report, slideshow. We've had slideshows which are really cute and some videos that have been put together. So yeah, as additionally as part of your final report, would you consider writing a letter of support? Doesn't you don't need to. We have questions that you might ask on how we can improve in the future. I'm just going to double check the chat here. How many recipients do you anticipate funding on a monthly basis? It depends. So we have a budget from now until the end of the year, and then we review that budget with our board because our fiscal year is technically January 1st to December 31st. And so we look at how many projects, how many applications that we've received and gotten in. Sometimes we're able to fund all of them. Sometimes we're not. Like I said, this is a new kind of era for us when it comes to like we used to have the funding cap to be $50,000 and with global economics and all that fun stuff, we've had to really think about how can we still support communities and more grassroots initiatives, and still continue this program. And so it really depends. But like I said, we have a budget from now until the end of the year, and we keep that in mind when we're applying. What's the start date and end date? It can start anytime this year and end sometime next year. It's up to you on how long your program would be. We wouldn't say any longer than like a year maximum. And so there's also that. So just an FYI. So here's a copy or a media release form that you can download, a guide to taking photos. I've made this because actually some of our groups, oh, oopsie, in the South have like taking photos of, anyways. I've had to make a guide. So, like I said, so here's the budget section. This is probably going to be your most important section because this is details exactly what you need from us. So, if your overall budget is $25,000 and you request 7,000 with the balance being covered through other funding, please include all details of your request from True North Aid in this chart with reading funds highlighted in the additional information. So it says salary and wages not able to support, but we could cover instructor fees and that kind of stuff in our honorarium. So I'm just gonna look at the question. Yeah, Agnes, we can talk about that after at the end here. And so, as you can see, description box, cost per unit, quantity if you need it, examples of supplies, hotels if you need it, mileage, that kind of stuff. So, type of expense, there's can't show you, but there is drop down to go in here, quantity you need, and the total. And any quotes like I said, anything over $3,000. As per our policy, you have a minimum of 2 quotes. However, we understand that you might purchase stuff from the northern store, and that is the only store in community. Let me know that, hey, this is it. That's the only thing that we can get from, because I know that there's not a whole lot of variety in the north. Just let me know, and just let me know, and we can figure something out here. So, like I said, if anything's over 3,000, you have to have a minimum of 2 quotes. If you don't do this, I might delay your application a little bit, but like I said, from the 15th to the beginning of the following month, we'll have some time for you to get that stuff. But just, if possible, have everything ready if you're able to, on here. And then just let us know what the requested total is. All right, another application. The limit is, yes, the limit is 10,000. It was 50,000. So the limit is now 10,000, just because we want to make sure that we have funding for lots of different communities to access. So 10,000 is the maximum. All right. And so we asked also for letters of reference. The reason we've done this is in the past we've had supplies and stuff go to people that didn't necessarily need it. And so letter of reference just knows, like, hey, like, Agnes is doing this amazing project and I know about it and we approve of it and we think this will be really beneficial for the community. So just a minimum of 2 letters of support. If you want to give us 5, go ahead. Don't waste your time though, just 2. A letter of support should come from someone in a position of leadership within the community. So member of an elders council, city community council, educators, principals, health, nursing station staff, social and community services directors, and other staff. So if you have a question about that, if you're not too sure where you should get that, just let me know. Say, hey, I have these 2 people in mind. Is that okay? I'll get back to you, and say yes or no. But it should be in leadership. It cannot, I should stress, it can't be from people that you have written down in your committee. So those 3 names that we talked about that would be part of doing your project, it can't be from them. And so just wanted to make sure that's clear. It can't be yourself like, hey, I think I'm great. We've had that. Please don't do that. I know you're great, but we just need to know other people are there. And then you click next, and that's it. So again, application deadlines are the 15th of each month. Application of the 15th of each month. If you need a day or 2 extra, please let me know. Like I said, we're pretty flexible on that. And yeah, we're flexible. Just let us know. Now exciting news is that this is going live in August 1st. However, to get the application link, you do have to go to our website and fill out the general inquiry form. I don't want you wasting your time going through this big application if it's not something that we can approve. So just wanted to let you know that. You should fill out a general inquiry for support. Let me know when your application, like when your project's starting. Give me a few details about the project, and then I will forward you the link to the jot form application. You can save at any time. So if you need more information, need to go back, you're fine. You're good. Hopefully this process, because we've also changed, so we had an old form called Survey Monkey. We've actually moved that from jot form. And so I'm hoping that people that have been funded by us or worked with us in the past will see that it's a lot more easier to and more accessible. It's definitely easier for us to edit in the back end than what it was before. So August 1st, August 15th is the first deadline, September 15th, so on, so forth. We hope to make it within 60 days from the 15th. So if August 15th you submit your application, you should hear back by October 15th. You might hear back sooner. Any questions? Just gonna go back to the chat and talk a little bit about the one pallet program. Renault, if so you can apply 3 times. So I think 30,000 would be the max total, but your project has to be complete. So the first project has to be complete before the second you apply for the second project. Just keeps things cleaner on our end. And yeah. So I would say 30,000, 3 projects per year per applicant. So if you're pro not for one, I mean for all the applicants. Yes. Yes. It would be for all applicants. Great. So one Pal, one community program. So we have a application that communities can access, and they would write down, here's my priorities for the community. So we have like bedding, sports equipment, baby supplies, hygiene items, school supplies, and other. And so you would rank which ones are like the most priority. There is a wait list for that specific program, unfortunately, just because we need people to match down south. We need people down south to be like, I want to do a collection, and then we would ship stuff once they've done their collection. It could take, we asked the southern communities 3 months maximum from beginning to end of when to hold their collection. Um, get the things happen, but we 3 months is what we hope for, and then we would ship to community. So all you would have to do is apply for the one pallet one community. If you're a community, we have you on a wait list, and then we match you. So hopefully it's not too long. It just depends on the community. Hi, thanks, Ankita. Sure. Let's email. So, you probably can see all the questions coming through. Does anyone else have any other questions that I can answer right now? You've all been really wonderful and engaging, and I'm really happy you're all here. But if you have any other questions, feel free to give me a call. That's my number there. Um, my email is probably the best way to contact me is amanda@truenorth8.ca. If you have any other questions, like again, the program goes live. If I'm gonna put in the link in the chat here, and I'm gonna stop my share, so thanks for coming. I'm gonna put in the chat here the email. Oh, thanks, Lori. Apparently I can't the general inquiry form. Hang on. The truenorth8.ca. And I'm going to put the general inquiry form in here. If you go to our website at the very top, it says apply for support. You can also find that there. Um, you can also sign up for our emails. But if you have a project idea, this is the form. Yeah, absolutely. I'll share it. Yeah, that's great. I can do that, Arla. Thanks, Pauline. Thanks, Lori. Thanks, Anton. Thanks, everybody. But that's a link that you can send me a general inquiry and go from there. If you want, anyone wants to stay on, talk to me too. I'm here to. I'll stay on for like a couple more minutes. So thanks, Carmen. Thanks, Ferris and Vivian and Joanne. I hope to connect with all of you very, very soon. Thank you. Aw, you guys are so nice. Sure. Yeah, Agnes, please. Yep. Maybe stay on too. And yes, I'll send the recording link very soon. It's gonna upload to YouTube. It might take me a little bit, so wait for that in 2 days. Thanks, Nicole and Ruthie. Right. Agnes, where did you say that you were from? Thanks, Philip. Nice to see you on. Okay. Oh, I'm pretty sure that you're good to go. Let me take a look. Uh, Yes. Yep, you qualify. Oh yeah, you are on an island. Yes, you are very, yes, you're good to go. Please apply. Yeah, that would be wonderful. If you have any questions, Agnes, then about like whether the program qualifies, let me know. But yes, they're on an island. You're that's pretty remote. You're good to go. Is anyone from Manitoba? Kita is asking. Small town. What a beautiful place. Yes, I've been and I went there for my honeymoon. Got married in Vancouver and then went to Tofino. It's beautiful. I miss it. I was looking at photos yesterday. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Pauline, you're good to go. I think I have your contact information for one pallet, actually. Yeah. Manning, Alberta. Thanks, Agnes. All right, let's take a look. Oh, apparently I can't minimize. And apparently I forgot to stop recording.